All right. Okay. Thank you. So I did talk briefly on instance, not to take much time on the previous class. So I just talked briefly on instance, and I did a bit of architecture on ServiceNow architecture, and we just went through production and non-production. We talked about multi-tenant architecture, like multiple customers share the same database, and we also talk about multi-instance architecture, where each organization gets a separate instance and ensure data isolation, customizing flexibility and high availability. And also, I made made mention briefly of plugins. Plugins is actually where you can actually go and get most of these modules installed in your instance. You could also go to ServiceNow store. You can also get most of the modules, or because your what you're using right now is a free instance, and for most of this what's it called, most of other organizations, they use paid version. And if you're on a paid version and you have a module, for instance, like ITSM, there are other components in it that you need to update, you need to download, and most times you have to pay for them. But since you're using a free instance, they are free for you. So most of them are free as long as it's not for enterprise use. Yeah, basically. So that's your plugin, just like a they are modular software components like that enhances the platform functionalities, and this way you can get them. I'm going to show that briefly. And I did talk about configuration and customization. I think that was where we stopped. Um, if you could remember, I was trying to change the header of my ServiceNow instance, and it's not going to let you do that. The reasons being that it involves JSON, six CSS, and some other key value pair that you need to put those things into consideration, because like it's for a user, it's a read only. So you have to create a team. When you create a team, you'll be able to configure the instance. But before we carry on, just want give me a thumbs up, or just indicate or say something on the chat room. Did any of you did any of you go through the assignment, and were you able to do it? Were you able to were you able to configure customize your instance? Were you guys able to customize the instance? If you're able to customize your instance, just um, or were you able to? I gave an assignment. Did you do it? Okay, yeah. You can carry on, Jackson. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna share my screen, and I'm just gonna share my screen, and all right, Jackson, you asked me. Yeah, I knew I was supposed to get back to you on that. For when it comes to share my screen now. All right, so this is my instance. I actually configure my instance. So when it comes to trying to get to your system property, the best way to go about that is just to go sys underscore properties dot list dot do, list do. Um, dot do. Okay, the property list do. Just a second. So it's going to be list property. So they are either, because you can't actually get that, it's not going to display on your, even when you go to the applications and you're trying to check the applications, you're not going to get that. So, but when we go via this method and say dot list underscore properties dot list. All right, so this is how you get to the system properties. Now, if you want to configure your instance, because first of all, like I told you, as an admin, part of your responsibility could be you could have a user story, which I'm just going to go briefly on. The user story is being created by a BA, and the essence of a user story is just to direct you on what you're supposed to do. It gives you a guideline because all the guidelines are there and all the recommendation of what you need to do. Most times it could be for you to configure, or it could be sometimes for you to customize. As a service now administrator, you would be tasked with the responsibility of customizing an instance for a company with all the requirements. So take for instance, this is an earlier solution. How did I get to this place? How did I even design this? Right? I know if you remember from our last class, I told you about basic configuration, and this basic configuration UI sustain. This is the next UI. What you need to know is most ServiceNow ads have actually grown or they've evolved from lots of their old practices to a new practice. And UI, this basic configuration, you can check it later, is just the old UI they had before they moved to the next UI, which is a UI system that contains how to just basically you can do there. You can't override this background. You can't override the background. For you to override the background, you have to go to your teams, which I'm going to show in a minute. But all what I did here was just to change the logo. I changed the logo and also the dev instance name. This is the solution. Elax solution is the dev instance name. You can also change that based on this UI, basic UI. So under your basic UI, you can do that. You can change it. I just changed mine earlier. So whatever name I put on the browser tab label, that's what's going to display here. So whatever picture I put, that's one go. Then when you're going to see this service management is on this place. When you click on it, you see that. Now, most of these things you see, even when you change them, they're not going to display here. They might display on your workspace, right? That's where they might display. But what ServiceNow has done now, they've transformed it. Initially, for you to change this header, you need to use code. People do write some code. They go to UIX/X and all that. Like you need to write a code to do that. But now you can just go to your teams. So if you go to your teams, now you can go to your team builder. When you go to your team builder, because it involves JSON, because it involves CSS, HTML, you need to, they've actually created a platform where you can create it yourself and design it. Just whatever user story you have, you can apply the user story and make something tangible or make something presentable based on your user story. Mind you, at all time, you are not designing any instance by yourself. You're only designing an instance based on the user story. That's what you need to know. And when you in UI 16, it's you need there's what they call polarized, and that's where you find in your sys underscore property dot list. That's like your system properties where you can actually alter some certain things there. Now, so if I go on and I click on create, continue. Now we could just give it a name. I could give it any name I want. I could just make the name to be, let's say, training demo. Now, like I've always said, there's a reason for description. So you could just put a description, training demo for class. So it's very important because that description tells you what the name is for. So in service now, it's important for you to take note of that. And there might be a naming convention based on your company you're working with. There's always a naming convention. You have to make sure you follow that name when you're trying to give any when you're trying to fill a name or anything. So like creating some, I'm trying to create a teams now. I need to follow my company's naming convention if they have one. If they don't, you just do what you're doing. Now you go on next. It might take a while. So now this is where it all starts from. You see, you can see it's actually visible for you to just you can just when you make changes, you can actually have a clue of what you're changing. Now, this is a color used most by your company to present your brand. So what color do you want to use? What color do you want to change? Now, if you bothered about your color, you said you want something different, you can just go to your Google. For those that don't want to ask question, if you don't know how to go about it, just say, how do I what are the color numbers? Just say color numbers or color charts, whichever one, color code or anything. So when you go there, you can actually see different, whichever one you want to go for. You can get to see the name, the color, the numbers that you can fill in to that particular spot where we are before. Where is it again? Yeah. So if I want to go by the number, I might just go there, look for any number and paste. Automatically it applies to it. But if I don't want to go through that route, I want to pick from these numbers that have been given to us out of the box. I just have to come here. For instance, I might pick this color. I like it. It's red, but it's too shouty. I want something a bit not too shouty like that. Yeah, I think that's a bit brownish. Yeah, so that's all right. I'll go for that. So automatically you see where it indicates that this is the adjustment you've done. This is where it's going to reflect. This is where the color is going to reflect. Now you go on to the next one. I don't want this color. I want something greenish. Yeah, something like this. Not too shouty, but so you can see this is where it does display. Now the last one, if you look at it, say this is the color that I used to develop the relationship between objects. To use this for divide lines, so divide lines and all that. Yeah, so I want it to be this color, gray, so that at least we will always be able to see. So if you see this place is gray and all that, but if we do change it to something this a bit shouty. All right, so it tells you, do you want to add any additional color? For the main time, we could say no and just carry on. Now, do I want to attach any file? If you have a file, a logo you want to change, I've changed my logo from the instance itself by going to basic configuration. Basic configuration. I've changed my logo, so I don't want to change my logo here. I'm going to leave the logo as it is. But if you're giving a recommendation according to your user story, you could attach your logo here, and it's going to display. Now, what kind of font do I want? It depends on your user story. You can go for Lato, you can go for cabin. So depend on whichever one you feel you didn't fit based on your user story also. And after that, how do you want your box, your the columns here to be like? Do you want them completely squared? Do you want them round? So if I click round, you're going to see where the changes comes in, right? These are the tabs. The tabs changes. So the buttons, yeah, the changes. So that's where this the all configuration does. So when you alter it, whatever you click here, it's going to change automatically. And after that, you click on next. Now, when you click on next, what you're going to see is just a final review. It tells you, oh, this is what you've chosen, and this is what is being displayed. Now, I'm going to go straight to create team. I'll create team. Now, when you create your team, it's just going to show you a rough sketch of what you have created, right? Now, under it, we have a UI style preview and we have experience preview. Now, when you click on experience preview, sorry, we're on experience preview before. That's just this is the work. It tells you how it's going to be like when you're done. After you've done your design, after you've created things, that's going to tell you. But under your UI style previews, where you are still trying to change things, this is your like as an architect, or maybe you're into drawing. This is where you do your rough work. This is where you do your configurations, right? Now I'm not done, I still want to adjust some things. Now you can see this is where the gray color comes in. You can see all the gray parts, and you can see where we had the secondary color, and you can see where we had the primary color. They're all visible for you to see. Now under additional brand color, you can do more custom configuration there. Now why I call it configuration, take note, when you say configuration, you are using out of the box. You are not changing anything, right? You are not changing anything, you're just using what you have there already. But under customization is different, you're doing something new, you're changing things. So so my tabs, I can keep changing the colors. So you go there, you can add on your tab, you can add, you can see the colors will change. So you can do that. Now, if I'm done with what I want to do. I go to the next place, I check, you can see buttons. Okay, yeah. Now, if I want to make more adjustments, you can see these top bars. We've got a global style, component style, and image style. So you can click each of them to design, to go for more configuration. Your component style, these are your tabs. You can change the color, you can change how you want them to be. Then when you go back to global style, under global style, you can see we have this color. We have overview. That's just seeing everything. Like this is the overview of it. Now you have your colors. Now under color, this is where you do more work. You have a background. You can change the background color. Now that is the surface brand background color, which is this. You can change it if you want to. Now we also have a border color. Your border color. These are your borders. The border color is that. You can change it also if you want to change it. If you want something different, whatever color you want, you can adjust. But I want it gray. So you can do that when you want it. Divider. So let's do something. Let's change this divider color to okay, let's change the divider color to black. So you can see divider color, you see them, they're all black. Those are your divider colors. So you can change your focus. So whatever, when you have time, you can go through this part and just change whatever you want to change. It's all on what you want to do, what the user story you're giving. So it determines what you're going to do. So we're done. I'm done with that. Next thing I'm going to do is this. You come down to edit. You click on your edit, you go to manage. Now, when you go to manage, you're going to see this training demo we just created. Now, it's not been published. When we say publish, it means it's okay for use. But when you don't publish it, it means no one can even access it. That's just the simplest explanation for publish and unpublish. But we're going to get to that in knowledge article, where we're going to explain more on publish and unpublish. But just for that, for now. Now I'm going to come here and say publish. I'm going to publish it and make it relevant. Like I can actually pick from it. Like it's easy for you to choose from that if it's being published. But if it's not published, you can't. You won't be able to see it. You won't be able to pick it. You know, you can't apply it. That's the easiest word to use. You can't apply it. So when I click on publish, now I've got one that was in use before, which is Elax theme. That was my default. So by default means basically by default, when you turn on your system, this is what I want to display. This is what I want to just display here on the screen and all that. This is the kind of adjustment. This is the theme I want. So I'm going to come down to your training demo and click on that also, the three dots, and click on make mark as default. Now, if I mark this one as my default, mind you, ServiceNow is not going to just display what you've done. You have to refresh. Always take note. You have to refresh. When you refresh that, you can just go to your instance. You can come down to your instance. Just refresh this. So you can see I have changed the background. I've changed the background. So that is the easiest way to go about it, because these configurations, they are mostly going to display on your workspace. You can adjust this. You can display here basically on this background and all that. You can change this color if you want to and all that there. So you can also do that in your teams. It makes it easier. Everything is packed in one. Make it very easy to work on. Now I'm just going to do another illustration, or just for people to get more understanding. Now we're just going to go a brief on user. No, I'm going to go to role. We'll start from role. So if, for instance, you have a user story that says Moses just joined a company and we need the admin to add Moses to 4 groups, right? And also those 4 groups, they should make sure that they have a certain, or they all have ITEL roles in that 4 group. And also in a group that includes Emmanuel is being assigned to 2 groups, and Emmanuel has left the company. We need you to make sure that you offboard Emmanuel properly. Now, what we're just trying to say is we're trying to make sure that Emmanuel does not stay on all those groups and still get those access he has. Take him out. So you have to delete Emmanuel directly from the group. And you have to add what? Moses to those groups, which according to the user story says it need to be added to this group and this group, and you add a role to them. That is basically part of what you, as an administrator, that's part of what you're going to do. I showed an illustration on how to create them, but you can also go from your roles. Take note, you can go from your roles and you get your groups. So if I want to go to my role, I just go system definition. I'm missing it. I'll go through the easiest one that I remember. So that's for me. You don't have to cram anything, but if you don't know, you just go to the application tab. It shows you everything you want. It takes you everywhere. It's under system, not delegates. No. Oh yeah, yes, you can go under system security. When you go under system security, you have your role. You click on the role there. So this is where you can create a role if it's necessary. ServiceNow, they've gotten out of the box. Like they've created different rules according to business standard. They've created lots of rules that you can just pick from. But if you feel that the role that have been created does not match up what what you put have in all this specific user story, then you can actually create. And you can also go to your group, the same thing. You don't have to look for it if you don't want to. You can just type the headings, system security, and after system security, you type your group. You can still go through a shortcut if you want to. And the shortcut is system underscore user underscore group underscore list dot do. Now, if you want to find the shortcut to any of your instance, like to make it faster for you, come to this top. You can see on your URL, there's this after target. Whatever you see there, whatever you see there is a shortcut that if I copy this now, I might just come here to all and drop it. No, so let me just copy this. I'll go to another place so that you can see that it's actually, yes, it's work. It's easy. Well, you just have to know how to get to it. Now, I'm just going to come here and paste and see what's going to happen. Automatically, it takes me to the group. Now, this is the list form. It takes me straight to the list form, right? It takes me straight to the list form. Now, if I click, for instance, I go to say database, no database. Let me know. I don't want to use database. I go to hardware. Now, if you click on hardware, you can see they have a role, they have a group member, they have a groups. Now, you can have a group inside a group. I don't know if I've said that before. So, like a parent and child stuff, where this is the parent group. So, most times you can be in a department that have small departments, mini department also. It's same thing here. So you can attach it to a parent. And another thing you should know is something about parent and child. We're going to get that more on tax. What we're going to discuss on tax. A parent and child relationship most times is about carrying up the role of that parent. See if the child is going to benefit from that. That's why it's called parent and child. So if a parent has an ITEL role, an old ITEL role, it has a mid server role, once you are added as a child to that parent, automatically you get all your configuration directly from your parents. So most times that's why they have a relationship. So it's controlled. Whatever happened to the parents can happen to the child. What happened to the child will not affect the parent. What happened to the parent will always happen to the child. So from here, you can add anybody. So if I say I don't want David Lowe to be in this group again, I just need to go to all those groups and remove David Lowe, right? Now, let's take it the other way around. If David Lowe, I assign different roles to him, right? Then I have to go to the user and remove those roles one by one, one by one, one by one, right? So it's easier and recommended that you can easily just add, don't don't assign a role to a user. Instead, assign a role to a group, and in that group, you can assign users to that group. So before I go forward, does anyone have any question, any challenge, anything you're not clear about on what I've discussed so far? All right, you have the floor, Jackson. I can't hear you, please. Hello? Sorry, can anyone hear Jackson? Oh.
No, no.
Jackson, please, you are not audible. I can't hear you, please. All right. Okay. So while we wait for Jackson, um, from the assignment, do you have any challenge with regards to the assignments? Does anyone have any challenge to the assignments? At least I believe with what I've shown you now, with regards to customizing your instance, you can properly go and do it now. And also, oh, Jackson, he said, okay, yeah, you're going to, oh, yeah, okay. You just want to do what you're doing. Then when you sort yourself out, you're going to come back. All right. And also, still on configuration, the last time I wasn't able to show you guys how your interface would look like. Now, this is my service now. When you create, when you,
I think I'm back now. Sorry about that.
all right, okay, okay,
Sorry, I was using my system just to follow up very well.
all
My
right,
system has no, like I don't use the system mostly. It's mostly my work system I use. All
all right.
right, I just switched to my tablet. Yeah, I followed up on this group now. But I didn't see how you got your hardware. Is it the group you created for yourself?
Okay, I
Yeah,
just
it's a bit.
picked an Adwell. From the last class, did I not create group?
Okay, because I can't
So I
remember that
created
part. Yeah.
group. I just doing a like just a revision on the basics, like the things that we just need to align ourselves with. So I've
Okay,
created a
and
group
I
before.
created my own group
Yeah.
also, but I didn't see before this class. I created a group here, like, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I'm not seeing the group in my own in the group list.
In the group list. Okay. So just a second.
I'm trying to
So
read the groups here.
yeah, I'll tell you what to do ASAP. All right. So if you have a group, right?
Yeah.
Um, what you can do is you come down here, name.
Mhm.
So you go to the name, put in the name of the group.
Okay.
If you put in the name of the group, obviously it should come out. If not, that's where your description comes in. If you have a description, you can come here and change it to description and you put in the name of your description.
But would it
Exactly,
search? Would it search word to word for the description or?
exactly, yeah. It will search word to word, yeah.
um,
You search word to word. All right. Some other few things I would just want to explain before we go further. So we have, I don't know if I talked about your mobile app. So in service now, yeah, I did talk about mobile app the last time. I've discussed on mobile app. I also discussed about authentication method. I spoke about authentication. That's what we talked about the user role and user table, group table role. We talk about I before the other class. I talked about okay, no, I've not talked about that. So the basic system in service now, like I said, we have out of the box. All right, Jackson.
Sorry about that. Okay, I think I've seen it, but I used the group. The search was not description, but for text. I selected for text,
Okay.
and then yeah. Okay.
All
Thanks
right.
very much. I think
All right.
this thing is making sense a little bit, but let's see.
Okay. So we're going to continue. Now we have admin role, right? When you say someone has an admin role, the person has like a full access to the platform, right? That is it. When they say someone has an admin role, it means you have a what? A full access. Now, when you say you have approval role, we're saying someone that can approve tax. I always talk about ITEL. So ITEL is IT service management. Now, provides read and write access. So if you say someone has an ITEL role in terms of IT service management, which includes change management, problem management, request management, and incident management. That particular person, if you have a role like that, you have a read and write role. Now, catalog admin, so that is on your request. So you can allow you to manage service catalog and self-service users. Now, those are users without who can still access, but they don't have some roles. Now, with that, I'm going to show you. I did talk about impersonation the last time. Now, to impersonate someone, when they say to impersonate someone, I explained about it. So you have to go there as an admin, it's part of your job. I said the other time. If you create an instance for someone, so you have a customer and he said, "Oh, I need you to create an instance for me." They gave you a user story and the instance have been created, and he comes back and say, "Ah, excuse me, this is not the background color that I want. What I did request for is green, and what I'm seeing there is brown." Now, as an admin, you need to go there, you impersonate the person and check. If there are issues, you can impersonate them and check. So impersonate someone is just to come to impersonate user and choose which of the user. Now, user is anyone you create, like it can be a company that you're working with. It can be a company or anything. So as long as you create an instance for them, they are your user and you are the admin. So if I want to impersonate, last time I did, I impersonated AB Tutor. Now, if AB Tutor does not have all these roles, ITEL, admin, he is limited to things he can do. He can have an home page, he can raise an incident and a request, he can have access to service catalog and knowledge base. But there are other functions that he might not be able to what? He might not be able to do. So that's why it's important. And also, you should know that these things are meant to control access. Your rules, they are meant to control access because anyone can delete anything anytime. And when they delete it, it becomes an issue. Anyone can easily go and make an adjustment to anything. So, like I said, when impersonation is only allowed when you are trying to troubleshoot, basically, or you are testing a role-based permission. That's basic. That's the basic time, or the most time you use what impersonation. I think I've covered that. Um, so we're going to move over to the topic of today. I'll be working on a list and form. So I didn't really explain much. That's why I didn't really explain much when it comes to how to get, like, you're looking for what you've created and you can't find it. How would you go about it? So that's where I'm going to dive in right now. I want to use another word called incidents. All right, so when you go to your incident, all right, before that, let's just do okay, let's just run through this one first. After this one, we can. So because I'm on, let me just be sure. Okay, I'm the system admin, not self-service. All right, so I'll go to open. I want to see the list. Now, when you see the list, what is your list? It's a set of records from a table within the content frame. Its functionalities allow user to view and manage record from data tables. Now, with that definition, it's just saying a list gives you an overview of what's been logged in your system, of what incident, problem, change that has been logged. Now, just like when you create user, when you go to the first interface of once you just click on user, you click on open, it gives you a list view of everything that has been created, both out of the box and what's been created, what you are also what you've customized. That's what you're going to get from a list view. Now, we will need to break this down so that you have proper understanding of how the list work when they say list. Now, in your list, you have your what? Your main list, right? This display the record from a selected table. This is the record. This is the main list. Now we have your title bar, right? We have your filter. You can see your filter here. Now, this is your breadcrumb. This part is your breadcrumb. Now, inside there, you have your what? Your columns. You have your columns and what? And field. So you have your column and field, and you have your list menu. So you have all your list menu, and you have your what? List your contents menu. So I'm just going to show you just a second. So that was um the old instance, but they are still the same thing. So first you have what? Your contents menu. Now, where is your contents menu? So if you come to your instance, once you right click, you're going to see all your contents menu here. These are your contents menu. Now, to view, when you see your, so I said the first one is what? Your main list. Display of what? Record, okay, yeah. Display record from a selected table. So this one is a selected table. So once, if you click on it, you get you can get the direct information of this. Now, like I said, this is your breadcrumb. So first of all, so when you click on the list, it takes you to a form, which I'm not actually going to display that. Now, this list control, this is the place you can actually customize your list. So take for instance, you're working and you have you need some certain column that you want to display. You don't want everything to display. So you can also customize how you want to display it. Right? So you can go to your view. So this is a default view, but you can create your own, view, and it automatically displays here, and you choose which one you want to pick from. Now you can filter. You can filter based on active. Say, oh, which one is active? You can filter by group, whatever you want to do. Now, when you right click, you also get that your list view also to be able to manipulate. And yeah, that's sorry, list title menu also, where you can be able to manipulate. Now, when you come to this three dots, when you click on that three dots, so you have sort, which is also similar to what you've had there, where you can sort from A to B, sort from Z to A. You can have a virtual tax board. You can have a group by state. But the basic or the most important things in this part is your configure. So when you want to configure, how do you configure? When you say configure, what are we trying to say? That is where you do the work. That's where you change it to what you want. That's where you create a layout for yourself. So take for instance, I click on configure. Now, when you see a plus sign on places like this, it's just dot working. Now, dot working is like you are in a department, this is your name, and you can actually relate. If I pick saying everybody from this department, automatically all the names of those people will come out, and I can easily add them to whichever table or whichever column I'm trying to present for people to fill up. So a dot work is basically something that links a main actor, for instance, to a scene. So saying that if you are in a department, for instance, let me just use that part, a names. So if you say assigned to, under assigned to, which people are involved in that assigned to, it helps you easily just pick. So if your email, I'm Amos or Moses, if I'm trying to fill a form, because of dot work, once I put in my name, automatically all my information can appear on the other tab due to dot working. So it's like linking things together. That's basically what dot working does. So when you see a plus sign, note, just know that it has other functions. So it's also used for dot working. Now, whatever you pick, look at what we have selected already. If I say, for instance, I don't want to see my category, I can remove my category and just move it this way. Priority, I don't want to see priority. I can click on priority and take it out. No, priority is very okay. Yeah, just take it out just for um just an example. Now, group. So if you click on the group, so if you have this sign, you can see you can expand selected reference. So this is the expansion. This is what I was trying to explain to you guys. Now, assign to user field. You can see it has active and all that. If you still click on the builder inside that assigned to, it will still display all other fields. It's going to display again. So you can get down to contact, you can get down to location. So once you pick on someone's name, if you remember when you fill the form, so you can get all this information just by getting the name of the person. So basically, that's just the dot work. So whenever you put it, you can get down to it. So it helps. Instead of saying I want to fill a form, I know your name, you're a user. Instead of me to fill each of those information that I already have, already using your in the creation of the user, dot work will help you just get those information automatically being displayed. So if I want, and I'm still on the process of customization now. If I want to create my own view that anytime I come to work, this is the view I want to see, I just need to put a name. I'll add it. I'll click on add and I'll save. So take note, there's a slight mistake. I'm supposed to change once I create my view. Close. Once I create the field, so this is it didn't display because I didn't save it. So I'll go back again. So what I want to do first of all is to create. Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. This one is basically for field. You're trying to add a new field to what you have. So I was able to add Elax training to it. So if I go back to my list view, I'm going to see a column where it says Elax training. But if I want to add to a view, if I want to add to my list view, this is where I'm going to come. I'll click on new. I'll put it there. I'll click OK. Now this view, this is the one I'm trying to configure or custom. I'm configuring it because obviously I don't want this one. I'll take it out. So this is an initial list view that we have. So now I don't want updated time. I can take it out. Then I will save it on this earlier solution. Now, whenever I want to work, I just need to come here and pick this. All those columns I don't want to work with will just be, they are going to display there. So right now, we're just going to go for 10 minutes break and we'll come back about 4:05. Thank you. All right. So let's just carry on. If we're all together, I just need thumbs up, please. Yeah, May you're back. Okay. Are you still with us? I just need a thumbs up just to show that you guys are back to the class, please. All right, Jackson and Andrew. Okay, we just carry on. Just a quick one, just to run through what I was saying before. So you see this part is the title bar. That part is the title bar. You have the title bar there. Okay, yeah. So that part is the title bar. Now, when they say the main list, these are the main list. And a list, for this, it contains columns and fields. So these are the columns and these are the fields. These are the columns and these are the fields. Now, breadcrumbs, I said breadcrumbs, this place. And now, it brings us back to, if I want to filter, for instance, just like Jackson was trying to get some information the other time, that he created a group but could not find the group. Now, what are we supposed to do? Now, you can see this place contains the filter. This place contains all these columns, all the names of these columns, each of the columns. So it's a field operation. Okay, all right, Jackson, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so we have field operation. So for instance, if you are trying to look for anything, this is the outcome. So you choose an option. For each of the field, it tells you what option you have to choose from. So let's take, for instance, I want to see all active, all states that are new. You just have to come here and look for the field. States. So under state, it has its own options. I'm going to click new. Now, when you are done, you have to click run so that it can display. So you click on run. So all the stages that are new will display. So this one could be a list. So what's the essence of these things we're doing? So you can have more clue. I'm an admin and I want to work on, not even just only an admin. I'm a customer attendant or receptionist in ServiceNow. So probably my job, or maybe an agent, customer agent. And my job basically is to make sure I attend to all states that is new. Meaning maybe the person just applied, our new customers. That is what that's only what I concentrate on. So every new customers, I concentrate on them. What will I do? I don't want to have different states in my own list because this is my basic job. This is my core job. So I have to configure this list in a way that will suit my job. to make it easy so that at all time I can easily just click on, I go to my list view, click on it and choose the view I want. So that's just going to be where I work with. So this is it for list. Now, the next one we're going to work on, we're going to talk about form. Now, when you say form, form is actually what we fill up, is a detailed information we give out that can be displayed in the form of a list. So if you click, for instance, you click on new, a form will display. Just a second. All right, so if you click on that, a form will display. Now, what is a form? So they are basically, like I said, it's just a user interface that display information from individual records within data table. So these are information that you have to put in. And in a form, we have the content frame, we have the what? The form title, we have the form menu, and also we have what? The form button. Now, all these buttons, these are UI action, user interface action. So when you click on them, something is going to happen. Now, this place, the content frame, these are the content frame. This is the menu, right? So you can see, that this is a form. In this form, we have different, they are all custom, they are all configured together. You can change them, you can rearrange the form. So this is out of the box ServiceNow designed form that you can use, apply whenever you are working. You don't need to create your own. You can just come here, pick from it, and work with it. But if you still want to do anything about it, you can change it, you can readjust it. Now, how do you readjust anything? Obviously, you will not be asked questions like, oh, what is this or what is that? You can only be asked if, for instance, you have a user story, how do you work, or you try to tell somebody you worked on something before, how do you explain to the person that you've actually worked on it? Now, first of all, once you right click on this place at the tab, on this menu, sorry, and you click on configure, you have form builder, form design, form layout, and related list. From the name already, related list is something that is linked to another thing. And sorry, for instance, is an incident that can be linked to a problem, an incident that can be linked to a change. It's just a linkage that maybe, for instance, a user is linked to that incident. So those are part of what any other, they are just basically a related list. Form builder is just like that team builder we have. So before now, you've been using form design and form layout for your customization before the introduction of form builder. That makes it a bit easier. It's just drop and drop, drag, drop, drag, drop, drag, drop. So you're basically not doing any specific thing there. You're just working with it. Now, before we go on, there are some type of fields in this form. We have the mandatory field, we have the read-only field, we have choice field, we have so many kind of field. We have string field and all that. But mind you, when you see asterisk in front of any field, you should know that it's mandatory. Now, when you see a circle like a microscope, yeah, a microscope, it tells you that you can actually reference. It's being referenced from somewhere. That is it. So when you click on it, you can see it's reference to user table. Now, when you click on another thing is when you see only a column like you see an asterisk in front of a name that does not include either a drop down or a microscope where you can search, these are mandatory fields that you need to fill. I can't click send without putting anything here, imputing the description. It's not going to work. So you have to make sure that you do it the right way before it goes. At this point, guys, I'm really having a stomach upset. So I'm not sure I'll be able to end this class now, but I can make up for the time tomorrow. So I just beg your audience that we just end the class now so I can sort myself out. All right, guys. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, 3 o'clock. I might just add um extra 35 minutes to just balance what I was supposed to cover. Thanks.
All right, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you.
see you later, please.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.